Okay, the recording has started.
Thank you. Good morning. This is the weekly mayor manager meeting. I'm Steve Ward, Mayor Pro Tem. It's 8:30, February 22nd, 2023. With us today are Sarah Harkness, Assistant City Clerk, Shawn Lewis, City Manager, Tamara Niles, City Attorney, Stephanie Carlisle, City Clerk, and Tim Dodd, Deputy City Manager. Shawn, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We'll start with the February 27th meeting. We have a study session on media procedures, particularly focusing on communications and police. Security enhancement of Civic Center, 2023 events update. Review and discussion of remaining Unified Development Code revisions. January 2023 monthly financial report. Contract for, services with C&L Water Solutions for 2023 valve replacement. And did I go? No. Let's see, Bates Logan park enhancements. Also a contract for that. So it looks like we need to put time slots on none of those.
Looks like just security enhancements of Civic Center. I think that's the only one that we're missing discussion.
Yeah, and I have a question on that. We typically discuss security in executive session. Is there a reason why we've chosen to handle this in public session?
Well, I wasn't thinking of well, I suppose we could. I never thought about doing it in executive. There will be budgetary impacts and discussions, but I would defer to you and Tamara on that.
Yeah, I'm not
sorry.
I'm not necessarily saying it's necessary. It signals a change from what we've done in the past.
I have no objection to doing it in open session as long as it doesn't risk our safety. For example, if we are publicly disclosing some sort of security enhancement that ensures our safety, but if other people knew about it in public that it would call that into question, then I think it's appropriate for executive session. But if we're just discussing where there's going to be security entrances or something like that, that's public anyway, I'm fine with doing it in public. And I think the public would appreciate knowing about it as well.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem, it's really and I think the library and public works departments are still developing it, but it's essentially just their plans for reopening and what they're proposing in terms of, as Tamara just said, how people enter and exit the building, where they enter and exit the building, access to bathrooms, things like that.
Sounds good to me. Thanks for the clarification. As far as discussion is concerned, I think this could be a pretty robust discussion. So I would assign at least 20 minutes on this. And maybe even 30.
You want to split the difference, say 25?
Sounds good.
All right. And then on the valve replacement project, shouldn't, I mean, it's a huge contract, but it's just part of our infrastructure plan. I believe it's budgeted. Oh wait, that's a motion. Oh, okay, so this is a special meeting?
Yeah.
Did I go to, okay, thank you, missed that. So no times on those. Any questions on that meeting, Mayor Pro Tem?
No questions.
All right, March 6th, we have a public hearing for a PUD at 1314 West Oxford, public hearing for a major subdivision for the same project. And then currently we have Broken T golf cart fleet here. And does anybody remember, I think we had some discussion about this already, didn't we?
Yes. They could not move it. They need to get it done. And we had discussed it at the last meeting. This was the one item that was not really flexible.
Could we add that to the meeting, the 27th meeting?
I could ask him. I think we had agreed last meeting to keep it here, but I can definitely reach out to Jeremiah and see if he's ready to go.
Yeah, I'd
Thoughts on
support
that?
that if we can. I mean, I think
Yeah.
this also we'll have some discussion involved. And I'm not sure we'll be at our freshest after that public hearing. But if we have to handle it on the 6th, we can.
I'll reach out to him right after we get off this meeting.
Sounds good. Moving on to March 13th, Congressman Crow will be having a discussion with council. We'll have city ditch piping project update, housing discussion, specifically on, I believe as it relates to Code Next. And then utilities construction manager, general contractor, contracting process and approach from utilities. Do you want to assign times to those, Mayor Pro Tem, or next
No,
time?
we'll wait till the mayor returns on that.
All right. Moving on to March 20th, City Center redevelopment concept plans. This is a result of your workshop. We'll bring a couple of designs that we think we heard for your consideration. Then board and commission member appointment recognition, Big Dry Creek diversion project, construction manager, general contractor. And that's a motion. And then a motion for approving agreements regarding opioid settlements with Teva Pharmaceuticals and some other big companies. A motion for city ditch piping project. It looks like okay, so the previous one was a study session, is that correct? And this is the motion. Then an IGA with City of Littleton for dispatch all health mobile response unit, sharing that program with us. First reading of an ordinance for code cleanup, adding wine to the fermented malt beverage license. CBO 9, approve a bill for an ordinance electric grounding facilities easement at Bellevue Park. Then an IGA with CDOT for the Hawk signal in downtown. Broadway Complete Streets IGA. First reading of an IGA with RTD for funding of Inglewood Trolley. Council bill revising short-term rental regulations. Sorry, I think I muted myself. I'll just go back one. Short-term rental bill, regulations bill. First reading of a PUD for Sam's Automotive. First reading of a major subdivision, 1314 Oxford Avenue. Questions, concerns?
That looks like another busy night. We'll just have to keep an eye on it and see how it comes along.
March 27th, February financial report. The presentation 5 of the charter review project. Presentation by Arapahoe County representatives regarding Arapahoe County Regional Opioid Council. Anything on that? April 3rd, annual report of the city's contractor for emergency management services. Draft electric vehicle action plan. Strategic plan updates. Ordinance approving Comcast cable and TV franchise agreement. Tim, I did want to ask on that strategic plan update, since I know this, our delay on getting this adopted really delays our holding departments accountable for implementation. Is there a way to move that up now that we have direction on the sustainability plan?
Yeah,
or-
put it for you and I to talk today on our agenda. The issue is I'm away those 2 middle weeks in March. So if you're okay bringing it forward, we definitely could. I won't be here.
Gotcha. And I think I did know that. Apologies. All right. Next we have on April 3rd, an ordinance approving cable TV TV franchise agreement. On April 10th, victims compensation funds, victim compensation mechanisms for consideration in Inglewood. April 17th, a few items, non-enterprise fund capital project prioritization, elevate Inglewood graduation, adoption of EV action plan. And then the April 24th, administrative studies results, charges for enterprise funds and component units. And 6th and final presentation of the charter review and a March financial report. Maybe we can stop there and see if we want to plug in the study session that came in last night from Member Anderson. And then just make sure we have the other ones you've requested in here. And his topic was building code, which I think right now we're scheduled, it's not on here, but I think that's scheduled to go to council in April. I think that's been announced at council, but I can't remember. But obviously we need to do that, have that discussion before we go to council for adoption. Mayor Pro Tem, do you want us to just slot that in somewhere?
Yeah, I would put it on a study session night. I don't know that a discussion, it sounds like Councilmember Anderson has some pretty important things or lengthy things to discuss. And, it's possible that that could exceed an hour or absorb a large portion of the hour that we have allocated ahead of meetings.
Okay. We will plug that in. I also wanted to give, excuse me, one update on Member Noonan Camp's, one of her requested ones. She wanted to talk about city-owned land. So this morning I reached out to the city managers of city managers of Sheridan and Littleton to talk about a similar analysis in their cities, because we really like to talk to Tri-Cities Homelessness Policy Committee before we bring those to council, and just get their thoughts on that. But that's not a prerequisite, so I can talk to the mayor. But do you have thoughts on that, Mayor Pro Tem? It might delay the discussion a bit for council, because we would need to give them time to do, all of us time to do the analysis of our various vacant parcels and lots and buildings.
Yeah, I think it would be good for us to have an analysis of city land just in general. And I think that might be what Member Noonan Camp is aiming for. I haven't been on those discussions with her, but I don't see any harm in us proceeding ahead of the other cities, just so that we know what we have.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll talk to her more about that. If that's the case, then we can get that scheduled a little sooner, I think. And
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you had some study sessions that I think we need to get slotted also.
Yes. Courts and Code Next check-in are the two that I have listed. And then Noonan Camp had another one, which was the the unassigned fund balance discussion and capital projects master plan. And
Yes,
then,
and I'll update her on that. But I have a meeting today, I believe, with some companies that do that type of work, just to kind of understand what we need to be planning for and thinking about. So we should be able to get that into the schedule soon.
okay, and then the last item I had was just an all council town hall. And it's not necessarily a study session, but I don't see anything regarding scheduling on it.
Yeah, did we, was that the one? Did you and Chelsea both make that one? Or was yours separate?
I think we have consensus on it, just in general. We discussed it, and I'm not sure who gets credit for the idea. I think she brought it up.
Okay, but if it's that one, because I thought you were both, talking about it. We have the communications department giving you all some options. She reached out after the meeting and said, this is what I'm envisioning. So we're making that kind of option A. We just wanted to kind of give you the scope of what other cities are doing. So we made that a council request to start with, and then thought we could it would be faster to put it on a study session agenda to get some direction on what you want to do, but maybe take a look at the council request first.
Okay, that's fine, as long as it gets placed in the parking lot. Which I don't see here, but I want to make sure that we are consistently tracking these items if they haven't been calendared yet.
Gotcha. Well, I know the clerk's office is taking notes this morning, and we'll make sure those are plugged in where we can. Anything else?
That's all I have.
I do not have I think we were able to answer the three, what would have been council requests last night. With regard to the ice glacier, the Code Next Steering Committee report, and the cold water in the showers and pool at Inglewood Rec Center. So I don't have any other council requests, I don't believe.
There was the one from Councilmember Russell regarding the UDC process. I wrote outline of process and timeline for review and amendments, then the P and Z hearing, then the timeline for city council to consider. At the meeting, I had suggested that I would help draft it, but I think this might be solely within the wheelhouse of community development.
Okay.
But I'm open to suggestion.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I had that
didn't,
one as outstanding as well.
and I didn't get that one. My notes aren't as clear on that. So can you send that to community development, Tamara?
Sure. And I'll let Krista know too, so she can put it in the council request system. I also had Councilmember Russell's question about eMRF. But rather than treating that as a council request, I prefer to treat that as an attorney-client memo. In case there's some sort of cons about legal liability or something like that. I don't really know until I get into it. But at this point, I'd prefer to handle it that way if Mayor Pro Tem Ward is okay with that.
Is it possible that we can put it into the council request system and then just have your response say an attorney-client privilege document was submitted to council regarding this matter or something
Sure.
along those lines?
Yeah, that's no
That at
problem at all.
least gives notice to the public that we handled it, but it was handled confidentially.
Okay, yeah, I like it. And then that way, if there's not any confidential legal issues, then we could just publicly distribute it and it'd be very easy.
Sounds good. Thank you.
The only other issue I have is the study session for the short-term rentals. And when you'd like to schedule that. I've been working with community development on certificate of occupancy issues, so we're still working through that. So it's not feasible to put it on next Mondays. March 6th, of course, we have the public hearing. March 14th, I anticipate I'll be attending remotely. So what are your thoughts, Mayor Pro Tem?
Well, that's kind of a pickle. Is it possible that we could do it with the caveat that we handle the CO issues on the dais or that they're pending? I know that's not as clean as we usually like to do it, but if that's the only issue holding us up, I'd like to get this discussion in so we have consensus on the big ticket items. If we only have one of those left to handle, that's fine by me.
So you're thinking next Monday?
I'm thinking we could do it earlier, like the 27th or whatever, if it's otherwise ready and just the CO issue is remaining, we can let council know that and then handle that whenever the ordinance comes forward.
Okay, I'm just, yes, I think we can do that. It has to be completely finished and the agenda's distributed by tomorrow at 5. But I love a challenge. I will have it
Well,
done tonight.
that's too much.
Oh, no, it's already, you've seen some drafts. It's a lot of it is drafted. What will take the most time is completing the council communication to describe what the substantive issues are, and the PowerPoint. But worst case scenario, I could leave the PowerPoint off, work on it Friday, and then maybe distribute it in hard copy and then present it in person. It's not ideal, but we'll figure it out. Well, I'll make it
What
work.
about the 13th, Tamara?
I'm
You're out
attending
of town?
I'm attending remotely. I can present there, but if there is some sort of technology issue, I will be at my mother's house and, I'm not sure about the internet connection of a 70-year-old woman in Phoenix.
Then the next one, I think that where it would potentially fit would be the 27th of March. That's pretty far down the road. But if we want to do it right, I'm fine waiting.
Okay,
Let's look at doing it that way. The
okay,
27th.
That would be my preference because I prefer to present a complete, what I consider to be a complete product. But I know you are dedicated to addressing this quickly and responding to citizen concerns.
Yeah, it's been a couple years, so what's another month? Yeah,
Okay.
let's just put it on the 27th.
Okay, that's what we'll do then. Thank you.
Anything else?
Nothing from me.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. With that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.